All are requested to please keep your videos open.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Yes, now we are live. Are we supposed to start?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Kathanchan smrute yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrute viparitam syat Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Kathanchan smrute yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrute viparitam syat Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Kathanchan smrute yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrute viparitam syat Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Hare Krishna. Indeed, it's my great fortune and it's my pleasure and honor to be amongst all of you great Vaishnavas. His Grace Rupa Vilas Prabhu has instructed me to discuss with all of you regarding the teachings that were given by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rupa Goswami. And this particular chapter of the Madhya Lila, that is 19th chapter, is very important for ISKCON followers to understand thoroughly. The reason is that the teachings that were imparted by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Srila Rupa Goswami, they founded the basis of ISKCON movement. For example, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever teachings he gave to Rupa Goswami in those 10 days, teachings at Dashashwamedh Ghat in Prayagraj. So those teachings afterwards were expanded by Srila Rupa Goswami, and the basis of Srila Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was founded there. And Srila Rupa Goswami, with his own realizations, he expanded those teachings in his various books, mainly Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada in 1971, when he came to India in Vrindavan with the first group of devotees, about 30 devotees were there, and he was so much elated, jubilant, he was so much happy to take all of those Europeans and Americans to the Samadhi Mandir of Srila Rupa Goswami. And in the month of Kartik, the most auspicious month of the year, he was so much happy to take all of them to Srila Rupa Goswami Samadhi. As Srila Narottam Das Thakur sings in his Bhajan, Prabhu Lokanatha kabhe sange laya jabe, Shri Rupera pada padme mure samarpibe. It is our spiritual master that he is the one person who takes us to Srila Rupa Goswami. And under his guidance, we can understand the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada was that great representative of Rupa Goswami who collected all those devotees from all over the world. The first batch of International Society for Krishna Consciousness of the devotees, Prabhupada took, and he was so happy, and he started giving his discourses and transcendental realizations on the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and therein he says, one who reads Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he is directly associating with Srila Rupa Goswami, and one who acts accordingly, one who acts according to the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami that are mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is as good as serving his lotus feet. Prabhupada says, if you go through the NOD lecture series of Srila Prabhupada, the very first lecture Prabhupada says this. And that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary study of that great book compiled by Srila Prabhupada, was basically taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in Prayagraj at the Dashashwamedh Ghat for consecutive 10 days. And therein, after the instructions, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Srila Rupa Goswami wholeheartedly, and he electrified him with a transcendental mercy to understand all those teachings, inculcate, imbibe, and taste all those rasas which Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted to Srila Rupa Goswami. That's how we see whenever we read any book, be it on spiritualism or anywhere else, you may not be able to understand it without the mercy of the author. Mainly the spiritual books, specifically the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other Vedic literatures. Unless and until you receive some causeless mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we cannot understand them. You may read it thousands of times, but you cannot understand the gist, essence, the quintessence of the scriptures. Why? Because there is no mercy. That's why Srila Rupa Goswami was being embraced lovingly by Prema Purushottam Bhagavan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so that he could understand the mood, mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not only he gave theoretical knowledge, but he electrified with his mercy to understand. And same is the case of Sanatana Goswami. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu afterwards gave Sanatana Shiksha to Sanatana Goswami for consecutive 2 months, then also he blessed Sanatana Goswami, embraced him, and he recharged, surcharged him with the ability to understand. So we may gain knowledge by reading or hearing here and there, but the understanding comes only by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. The understanding never comes by one's own ability to mug up the scriptures, to memorize the verses, or to read voraciously. It's not possible. The understanding is only possible by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. So this 19th chapter of the Madhya Lila is like the foundation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because therein all the teachings of this Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya were imparted to Srila Rupa Goswami by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I believe this has been discussed how Srila Rupa Goswami meets with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayagraj. So I have been told that already text number 1 to 30 have been discussed. Correct, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, 1 to 30 done.
And now I am supposed to continue from 31 to forward.
31, yes.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. तब से 2-4 रूप ठाई आइला, वृंदावन चलीला, प्रभु आसिया कहिला, सुनिया श्री रूप लिखिला, सनातन ठाई, वृंदावन चलीला, श्री चैतन्य गोसाई, आमी 2 भाई चलीला, ताहार मिलिते, तुम्ही जैसे तैसे छुटी, ऐसा तहाँ हाईते. Basically, the section of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami is getting released is being discussed in these beginning verses, how they were released. And therein, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that there were three brothers that are very famous and they are mentioned. One is Shri Santosh, who became Sanatan, Shri Amar, who became Rupa Goswami, and Shri Vallabha, who became Anupam. But they had some other brothers also as well. And there is a whole genealogical table given by Srila Jiva Goswami. And he mentions that their entire family belongs to Bharadwaj Gotra from Karnataka. And there is a long history how Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, although their ancestors were belonging to Karnataka Saraswat Brahman families, in the Bharadwaj Gotra, there was a person named Sarvajna Jagadguru, and he had a very great learned son whose name was Aniruddha. Aniruddha had two sons, Harihar and Rupeshwar. They were also very learned, but Rupeshwar was learned Brahmana. Harihar became very expert in politics. And Harihar usurped all the properties of Rupeshwar. And thereafter, thereby, he dispatched him from his kingdom. He basically ostracized him from his kingdom. And Rupeshwar took his entire family, he moved to Orissa. And from Orissa, actually there is a place near Jagannath Puri they were staying. And Rupeshwar gave birth to Padmanabh Acharya. Padmanabh Acharya, he conducted one yajna, and from that sacrifice he begot 18 children. Out of them, one was Kumar Dev, and this Kumar Dev he shifted to Bangladesh. Now Bangladesh, but in those times it was East Bengal. That place was called as Yashohar. Now it is called as Jashore. There is a place called Bakla Chandradweep. That was their residence on the banks of Padma River, which is another stream of Mother Ganges. So this is their family lineage table that is going on. And this Kumar Dev, he had several sons. Out of them, Sri Santosh, Sri Amar and Sri Anupam are very famous. And because they were very intelligent, very learned, scholarly, gentle, very expert in political affairs, the local government officers, they reported to the King of Bengal that these brothers are very, very, very intelligent and brilliant. So if you engage them in your service, your kingdom will be very happy. All the Hindu people, all these people, those who are not inclined to follow you, they will become your subjects. So please engage them in your ministry. And then Nawab Hussain Shah, the Nawab of Bengal, he threatened and he forced them to accept the materialistic powers as ministers. And out of no option, means they didn't have any option whether to become minister or not to become. So they were forced to become ministers. That's how Sanatana Goswami became the prime minister, Rupa Goswami became the finance minister. So for Anupam, there is no description how he became, which minister he became, but there is no description regarding him. And they were managing the kingdom so well and so exceedingly fine that the king, that Nawab, was so happy, he was considering them to be his brothers. And he divided his property with them just as equal of brothers. And they had so much amassed money. With white means, they didn't do any black, marketing, notebandi, etc. They didn't need that. They were having everything at their disposal with honest means. And do you know how much bank balance they were having in those days, 500 years before? So I have made some calculations. Some senior devotees have made some calculations and they have come up to this conclusion. When Srila Rupa Goswami retired and he was planning to come to Prayagraj where he's getting these teachings, that time he divided his wealth. He basically collected all his wealth. He boarded on a boat. He had, I think, about 2 boat full of gold coins. And that time he divided his wealth into 3 segments. 50% he donated to Vaishnavas and Brahmanas for preaching mission of Bhagavad Dharma. Basically, ISKCON's preaching mission. So any donation that we give, it should be given for preaching mission and nothing else. That is how Rupa Goswami is teaching. And how much? 50%. So whatever you are earning now, that has to be given as 50%. Ideally speaking, whatever is the earning of the family. Okay, you understand Rila Manar Prabhu? Kaustubh Krishna Prabhu? We should follow it now. 50% you give it to Rupilas Prabhu, he will do the needful with that. And remaining 50% what to do? 25% for the family, 25% for the oneself. That's how Rupa Goswami divided his entire wealth, and the charity that he gave was 22 lakh gold coins. That means he had 44 lakh gold coins. So now if any one of you, by chance if you are goldsmith or you know the calculations of gold from 500 years before, how it was counted. So now please tell us, 44 lakh gold coins, how many rupees it becomes in today's calculation? I have made some rough calculation. It is not absolute or it's not correct calculation. So it becomes around 25, more than 25,000 crores of rupees. If you just take 10 gram as one coin, we don't know how heavy the coin was. Okay. Considering to be 10 gram one gold coin, if you consider that 22 lakh gold coins were donated, just imagine. And here we are thinking twice, thrice. We are discussing so much, what to do. Shall I give donation to Bhagavatam Bhadra Purnima or should I give it to Marathon? Should I give it or should I not give it? Should I give it to Brahman Bhajan, Sadhu Bhajan in the temple, or should I go to some party with my wife and my kids? What should I do? We are thinking so many times. So many times. That's our tragedy. But Srila Rupa Goswami gave just without a second thought. He just gave it to the donations. This donation to the Vaishnavas for preaching mission. And then he comes to Prayagraj. And before that, he had sent 2 messengers to Jagannath Puri to find out where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this too, now this verse is 31 verse is saying, Tabe sei dui chara rupa thai aila. Vrindavane chalila Prabhu asiya kahila. The 2 messengers that were sent by Srila Rupa Goswami to Jagannath Puri to find about the whereabouts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they came back and they reported to Srila Rupa Goswami that Sriman Gauranga Mahaprabhu has already departed for Vrindavan Dham Yatra. They came and they reported. That time, Srila Rupa Goswami, he immediately writes a letter to Sanatana Goswami, because by that time, what had happened when Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Anupama and Jiva Goswami, who was a very tiny child that time, all of them, they met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Ramakeli at the dead of the night. That time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told them to continue their duties as ministers, and after a while, after a mature period, they can retire. And afterwards, they were not happy with the ministerial affairs and they gave up their business as ministers. And they are not attending to the minister's jobs. They are not giving reports to the king, etc. And that's how we know the story. How the Nawab comes. Somehow Rupa Goswami and Anupam, they escape the arrest. And they arrest Srila Sanatana Goswami and put him behind the bars. Because he was not obeying his instructions. That's why. Sanatana Goswami, on the plea of being sick, he was reading Bhagavatam. The problem with us is little different. On the plea of sickness, we do not hear Bhagavatam. Isn't it? Prabhuji, kya karu? What to do? My back is aching, my head is aching, my knee is paining, I have some sort of, fever, I have indigestion. I cannot attend to the classes. Prabhuji, kya karu? I get headache if I get up little early. So I cannot join your japa session. This is our tragedy. And here is Sanatana Goswami is purposefully, artificially is pretending to be sick just to hear Harikatha. It's other way around. It's other way around. That's why you can get the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why we are bereft of that mercy. Because we find excuses not to hear Harikatha, and they find excuses how to hear Harikatha. So that's the difference between a pure devotee and a practicing sadhaka, a neophyte devotee like us. Neophyte means always fight. We always fight. What to do? Chanting kare, na kare. Shall we chant now? Or should I complete my 16 hours at night before I go to bed? That's our problem. So Srila Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned. Srila Rupa Goswami, he writes a letter to Sanatana Goswami that Mahaprabhu has gone to Vrindavan and we are heading towards Vrindavan. You also somehow or other get released and join us. That's what he says, na? Shuniya Shri Rupa Lekhila Sanatana Thai Tabe Sei Dui Jana. That's why Ami Dui Bai Chalila Tahare Milite. Tumi Jaiche Taiche Chuti Aisa Taha Haite. We both, means Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Anupam, we both are going to meet him in Vrindavan. You also somehow or other get escaped from his clutches and come and meet us. That's how Srila Rupa Goswami is writing to Sanatana Goswami. And now we go ahead. So, Kaustubh Prabhu, Leela Manohar Prabhu, I want your suggestion. The suggestion is, shall I go verse by verse or should I complete? Should I complete the summary study?
Sorry, summary is okay.
Huh? Are you sure? But still, I will put some slokas also because it's very interesting.
We can understand better in a story way.
Okay, rather than shloka, na? Okay, because I have this much amount of material of Rupa Goswami. This many stories and pastimes are there. If we begin now, it's 8 o'clock, and by the time I complete my notes, it will be 4 a.m. Then we can do Mangal Arati. Is it okay? Because you have asked me to speak, Rupa Goswami, he is my heart and soul. And His Grace Rupa Vilas has asked me to speak about him. So it's like you have given me a huge feast. And I cannot end very easily. You will have to stop me because it's a very nectar of our life to discuss about the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami. So I'll try to complete as much as possible, as much as I can. It's not possible to completely encompass the teachings and the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami. His glories are beyond the sky also. It's not possible. But still, whatever we read in Srila Prabhupada's books and from the previous Acharya's books, their commentaries and etc., and whatever I have heard from my Guru Maharaj and other Acharyas, like Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, etc., I'll try to repeat those words. Okay? So, Hare Krishna. Please continue chanting Hare Krishna. I have some technical problem with the internet. Give me 1 or 2 minutes. Huh? Continue chanting.
Okay,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhuji, Kaustubh Prabhuji, you can lead chanting for 2 minutes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Srila Rupa Goswami writes a letter to Sanatana Goswami and he tells that there is one merchant, there is one shopkeeper, a grocer. I have kept 10,000 gold coins with him. You should utilize with those, with the help of those gold coins, you please get released from this imprisonment. And we know the story, how Srila Sanatana Goswami, what does he do? He bribes the jail keeper. He gives him first 5,000 gold coins and thereafter 2,000 gold coins, and he gets released from the imprisonment. There is no reference to remaining 3,000 gold coins. What happened with those? I tried a lot to find it out, but I didn't get it. And Srila Sanatana Goswami started for Vrindavan. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Vrindavan. He stays there for 2 months. He comes on Kartik Purnima, the second Purnima of Kartik, the last Purnima, wherein the Kartik month ends. That time he comes to Vrindavan. He roams for 12 forests and he enlivens the Brajavasis along with the deers and all the cows and other Brajavasi animals. And thereafter, when Balabhadra Bhattacharya saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Srila Kaviraj Goswami explains in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that anywhere Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw some garden, he would remember Vrindavan. Anywhere he saw some water or a body of water, he would feel as if like Yamuna Maya. If he saw some sand dune, or if he saw some small mountain or a hill, he would immediately remember Govardhan. So that ecstasy was multiplied when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to Vrindavan. And that ecstasy also was multiplied millions of times when he reached Mathura Mandal. And that ecstasy also was increased to millions of times when he was in Vrindavan. Just imagine the ecstatic condition of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was on his Vrindavan Yatra. Just imagine its ecstatic condition. And due to those ecstatic symptoms and feelings and upsurge of Radharani's love for himself, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was many times falling in the waters of Yamuna from the boat. Or many times there were so many difficult situations they would arise. It was very difficult for Balabhadra Bhattacharya to handle the situation. So, along with Sanudiya Brahman, Srila Balabhadra Bhattacharya and one more assistant of himself, all of them, they decided, now we should leave Vrindavan because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is becoming uncontrolled due to his ecstatic devotional symptoms. So, let us go back to Jagannath Puri. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Sanudiya Brahman, and the assistant of Balabhadra Bhattacharya, all of them, they come out of Vrindavan, Mathura Mandal, and they start towards Prayagraj. Till Prayagraj, that Sanudiya Brahman comes. There is a whole story of Sanudiya Brahman, how he served Madhavendra Puri, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to take prasad at his house. And he was there all throughout with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his Vrindavan Parikrama. And he came up to Prayagraj. And when he comes to Prayagraj, that time, Vallabhacharya, Vallabh Bhatta, he invites Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was staying in Adel Gram. There is a village called Adel Gram across the confluence of Mother Ganga and Yamuna. And therein, they were staying. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Sri Vallabh Bhatta was there. And I believe the Tiruhitiya Brahman, Raghupati Upadhyaya also comes there. And that time, Srila Rupa Goswami, who divides all his money, he gives 25% to the relatives, he keeps 25% with himself, and he donates the 50% of his income to the Vaishnavas for preaching mission. And thereafter he comes and he offers obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Both of them, Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Anupam, both of them holding straw in their teeth, they offer prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that time, Srila Rupa Goswami, he offers this pranam mantra that we every time offer, all the time. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described as Mahavadanyaya. Vadanyaya means merciful. But Mahavadanyaya, why he is being described as Mahavadanyaya by Sri Chaitanya, by Rupa Goswami? Because he is distributing the Mahabhava Prem of Srimati Radharani, which is for Krishna. That love he is distributing freely, without any discrimination of caste, color, creed, or any prior qualifications. He is just ecstatically distributing. That's why he is called as Mahavadanyaya. Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj says, Adbhuta Vadanya, Adbhuta Karunya. Wonderfully munificent, wonderfully magnificent, wonderfully compassionate. Namo Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is distributing the love of gopis for Krishna, specifically Radharani. Krishna Prema Pradayate, which was never ever distributed for a long period of time. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirna kalau samarpayitum unnat ujjvala rasam svabhakti shriya hari purata sundara dyuti kadambastandipitaha sada hridaya kandare spuratavaha sachinandana. This love, this Braja Prem was never distributed ever before so freely. It was not so accessible. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to distribute that love munificently, magnificently, compassionately, without any discrimination or seeing the prior qualifications or any qualities of the recipient. That's why Srila Rupa Goswami and Anupam, while offering their obeisances, they offer this mantra. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishna Prem is a very unique property of the living entity. By chanting any other mantra, you may go to Svargaloka, you may go to Brahmaloka. Even by chanting Harinam, you may go to Vaikuntha. But you will not get Krishna Prem. You will not get Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem is only given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Dwapar Yuga, when Krishna comes, that time, Krishna is very miserly person. He comes, he enjoys himself with the gopis and he goes away. He never allows anyone else to take part in. Only some rare cases like Lord Shiva, who took bath in Manas Sarovar and he becomes a gopi. And that's how he tasted that love. Narada, he became a Naradi gopi and he tasted that love. By taking bath in Kusum Sarovar, Narada became Naradi gopi. Like that. But when Lakshmi Mata wanted that love, Krishna did not give at all. Krishna is very strict. He doesn't give. But when that same Krishna accepts the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani, he cannot exercise his own rude nature, his own stringent nature. He is overpowered by the mood of Radharani. And Radharani is mother of all the living entities. And mother's mood and mother's love for her children is very, 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 very liquid. Or you can say, Krishna was defeated by Radharani's love, and that's why he became so munificent. He is helpless. He cannot restrict himself because he is in the mood of Radharani. Shri Radhar Bhave Gauravata Hare Krishna Nam Gaurav Kurila Prachar. Sri Chaitanya Mukhod Girana Hare Krishneti Varnakaha Majjayanta Jagat Prem Nam Vijayanta Tad Avyayaha. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has emanated this Hare Krishna Mahamantra while tasting the love of Radharani for himself. And that same love he is distributing through the same Mahamantra. See our great fortune, what Srila Prabhupada is giving us. And that same Mahamantra is given to us. So that's why Srila Rupa Goswami says, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. So Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. He is Krishna himself. But he is called as Krishna Chaitanya. Why? Because he has taken sannyas in Kali Yuga. His sannyas name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Although he is Krishna, but he is not blackish. He is yellowish. He is fair complexion. That's how Srila Rupa Goswami offers his pranam to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Anupam. At that time, they were constantly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They were constantly chanting. And that time, Vallabh Bhatta, he says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you see, both of them, they are so fortunate that they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly. Constantly they are chanting. And that time, Srila Rupa Goswami says, I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tastes Vallabh Bhatta. No, they were discarded by the societies because they were serving the Muslim governments. They were ostracized from the common masses and mainstream society, and they are fallen. That's why they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But Vallabh Bhatta, he understood that chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is not so easy. Aho bata shva pajato gariyana jivbhagre vartate nama tubhyam te pustapaste juhu sasnurariya brahmanu churnam grunanti yete. He quotes this verse from the third canto quoted by Devahuti to Bhagwan Kapil Dev. Third canto, 33rd chapter. And therein, this verse is there. Anybody who is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he has done all sorts of austerities, all kinds of studies, penances. He has given all kinds of charities, and he has traveled all through all the holy places. He is an perfect Aryan. That is how Devahuti Mata is saying. And quoting this verse, Vallabh Bhatta says, the very fact they are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly, that means they are very, very elevated. And that's how Vallabh Bhatta passes his test conducted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's how it happens. So, when Sri Rupa Goswami and Anupam offered their obeisances, that time Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invited for prasadam, and that time he takes these two brothers for prasadam. And thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Dashashwamedh Ghat, he starts teaching Srila Rupa Goswami the Rupa Shiksha. I just want to summarize the Rupa Shiksha in few points. दोई भाई दूर हायते भूमि ते पड़िया भट्ट दंडवत कैला आती दीन हैया भट्ट मिली बारे जाय दुहे पलाई दूरे अस्पृश्य पामर मुई नाचुई मोरे सुनी महाप्रभु तारे बहु प्रशंसिला प्रेमा विष्ट हैया श्लोक पढ़िते लागिला. So the story that I narrated about the chanting by Rupa Goswami and Anupam, that is being described here. And thereafter Sriman Mahaprabhu takes prasad, that is being described here. And Sri Vallabh Bhatta, he gives remnants to Rupa Goswami and then to Krishna Das. There was a devotee called Krishna Das also. Sanudiya Brahman, Krishna Das, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Rupa Goswami, and Anupam, along with Vallabh Bhatta. I believe there was Raghupati Upadhyaya also. These many devotees were there. And thereafter, it is mentioned, Priya Swarupe, Dayita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahajabhirupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhure Karupe, Tatanarupe, Swavilasarupe. Indeed, Srila Rupa Goswami, whose dear friend was Swarup Damodar, was the exact replica of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was very, very dear to the Lord. Being the embodiment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, Rupa Goswami was naturally very beautiful. Basically, this verse is explained by Kavi Karnapur. This is, I believe, 121 verse. And thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts his teaching to Rupa Goswami. He says, Rudi yasya pranayana pravrito ham vara kopi rupi tasya harena padma kamalan vande chaitanya devasya. Although I am the lowest of men and I have no knowledge, the inspiration to write transcendental literatures about the devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. Therefore, I am offering obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given me the chance to write these books. Basically, Srila Rupa Goswami is counting the mercy and blessings given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yehi mata dasha dina prayage rahiya, Shri Rupe shiksha dila shakti sanchariya. 10 days Srila Rupa Goswami was instructed. Now we will see what all those instructions are. Okay. Prabhu kahe shuna rupa bhakti rase lakshana, Sutre rupa kahi vistarana jaya varnana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself is telling to Rupa Goswami, we cannot describe the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in a complete manner. We cannot complete the description. I am just giving you some synopsis. So now that synopsis also, Kaviraj Goswami has recorded in a synopsis format. And that also we'll discuss in a very short format, because we have a very less time. Okay? So shall we begin? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Hare.
Para para shunya ko bher bhakti rasa sindhu tomaya chakha ite tar kaiya kabindu. Bhakti rasamrita sindhu is so deep, it's a shoreless, bottomless ocean of nectar, ambrosial nectar. I am just trying to make you taste one drop of it, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. And that drop itself is drowning the entire universe. That drop itself, just imagine the great ambrosial nectar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings.
Which text, Prabhuji? Which text?
Yes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, in this universe there are limitless living entities, in which 84 million species are there. and all are wandering within this universe. 8.4 million bodies are there, and there are unlimited living entities. And Prabhupada is giving lengthy purport to this. And thereafter he says, Keshagra Sateka Bhaga Punha Satamshita Karitar Sama Sukshma Jiver Swarupa Vichare. He is telling that there are innumerable living entities in this material world. And he is also telling the size of the soul is the 10,000th part of the tip of the hair. Balagra Shata Bhagasya Shatabha Kalpitastasya Cha. Srila Prabhupada, he quotes this verse very often. And then he says, Oh Lord, although the living beings have accepted material bodies are spiritual unlimited in numbers, if they are prevailing, there will be no question of their being under your control. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is starting his teachings. These living entities can be divided into two portions, two divisions. Sthavar and Jangam. He is telling. Sthavar and Jangam. Tar madhya manusya jati ati alpata. And sthavar means the creepers, the trees, the plants, all those. Jangam means those who move. And among the moving creatures, the human beings are very less. Ati alpata. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Ati alpata. Their population is less. Tara Madhyam makes a pull in the Bauddha Shabar. Even though the human population is less, still they have so many other degraded human beings also. Mlecha, Pulinda, Bauddha, and Shabara. Out of them, Vedanishta Madhya Ardheka Veda Mukhya Mane Veda Nishiddha Papa Kare Dharmana Hi Gane. And out of them, those who accept Vedas are higher. Dharmachari Madhya Bahuta Karma Nishtha. And those who accept Vedas, they also are mostly Karma Nishtha, Karma Kanda. They will do this sacrifice, fire sacrifice. They will do that charity. So many things. They will not do direct devotional service. Koti Karma Nishtha Madhya Eka Jnani Shrestha. And out of those millions and millions of Karma Nishtha, one who is a Jnani, a knowledgeable person, he is great. Koti Jnani Madhya Hoya Eka Jana Mukta, Koti Mukta Madhya Durlabh Eka Krishna Bhakta. So out of such millions and millions of Jnani, or those who are very intellectually conversant with the knowledge, out of those, one may be mukta, liberated. And out of millions and millions of muktas, very rarely one can find a pure devotee who is Krishna Bhakta. That's how Rupa Goswami is being taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ata Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. Srila Rupa Goswami, when he was hearing these teachings, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes Parikshit Maharaj. When Srila Parikshit Maharaj was hearing Bhagavad Katha, and at that time he hears that how Vritrasur goes back home, back to Godhead in the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that time he quotes this verse, Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prashantatma kotishvam api mahamune. Out of millions and millions of muktas, you may find only one rare soul as pure devotee of Krishna. It's not so easy to find out. It's very rare. So how did this Vritrasur, the demon, he achieved that sort of devotional sentiments to Krishna? How this demon achieved? That was the question by Parikshit Maharaj. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is quoting here to instruct Sanatana Rupa Goswami that Out of such millions and millions of muktas, one may be rarely called as a pure devotee of Krishna. And how that rare devotional service is found, then now he starts. Here in the real teachings, they start 151. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bija. How to become that rare pure devotee when a living entity is roaming through the planetary systems of this universe? By some good fortune, by the mercy of Krishna, he gets some guru, authentic, bona fide guru, pure devotee, and that guru gives that seed of devotional service. Upajaya bade lata brahmanda bhedi jaya. Now, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, by the mercy of Krishna, one gets guru, and guru gives the seed of devotional service. Mali hanya kare sei bija aropan, shravana kirtana jale karaya sechan. So that living entity who has obtained a pure devotee as a spiritual master, he has to become a gardener of his own heart, and he has to sow that seed into his heart, and he has to water that seed. And what is that watering the seed? Shravana kirtan. The more you water the seed, it fructifies properly. So that's how the more we hear, read and chant together with the devotees, our bhakti becomes strong. And then he says, Upajiya Bade Lata Brahmanda Bhedi Jai, Viracha Brahma Loka Bhedi Para Brahma Pai. So when that Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotional service, is nourished by our hearing and chanting, means basically what we are doing now. When that creeper is nourished by our hearing and chanting, that cracks the layers, outer layers of this universe, the 7 layers, and it goes to, it even crosses the Viraja river, and it goes to Paravyama. It is also called a Chidakash, the spiritual sky. The sky that we see is material sky. It is still in the purview of the material universe. But when the devotional service is rendered causelessly, without any expectations, and consistently, sincerely, seriously, without any ulterior motives, then that creeper goes out of this universe, it crosses the Viraja river and enters into Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Tabe jaya tad upari Golok Vrindavan, Krishna Charan Kalpo Vriksha Kare Arohan. And it goes to Golok Vrindavan. It crosses even the Vaikuntha planets, Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura, and it goes to Golok Vrindavan, and at the lotus feet of Krishna it takes shelter. Raha vistarila haya phala premo phale iha mali seche nitya shravan adi chale. When the gardener is watering that Bhakti Lata creeper here by chanting and hearing in this material world, while staying in this material world, while doing all sorts of responsibilities of mother, father, daughter, daughter-in-law, husband, granny, grandpa, whatever may be the responsibilities, while rendering those responsibilities, but that devotee sincerely, earnestly, seriously, consistently, in all circumstances, if he is hearing and chanting, then that creeper which has reached in the Golok Vrindavan, that gets nourished by chanting and hearing from here. So that's how important it is, how much we should give preference to hearing and chanting. We may give huge donations. We may render so many services. But if we do not do this Shravan and Kirtan about the pastimes of the Lord, Even deity worships become hackneyed. Even deity worship becomes hackneyed and burdensome. Why my Guru Maharaj has given this stone to carry around? That's what Prabhupada says. When Prabhupada visited New Vrindavan, he saw those beautiful deities, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Nath, and he was appreciating the pujaris there. So wonderful deity worship you are doing, so nice. He was congratulating and thanking the pujaris. At that time, Prabhupada gave a lecture and he says, but if you do not do hearing and chanting, this deity worship will become burdensome for you. So that's why the Shravan Kirtan is so important. So important. We cannot have any substitute for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 rounds attentively early morning hours during Brahma Muhurta in one sitting. There is no substitute for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra like this. We cannot chant 4 rounds in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, 4 in the evening, and 4 at night. That's not the way to do bhakti. It has to be very intense and seriously. That's how we nourish our bhakti kripa. We have to wake up early in the morning, sit at one place, and finish off all our round. Unless we complete 16 rounds, we should not touch any other work. We should not think also. That is the preference. That's how we are trying to convince Krishna, I love you. If you give such high priority to Krishna, then Krishna gives priority to you also. Our problem is as soon as we wake up, we open the mobile and see WhatsApp status. Who has sent who what? Who has sent good morning and who has said good night? Who has given reply to my status? And that is the beginning of our day. So pathetic. We are calculating our happiness and distress by somebody else's response. We are calculating our happiness in that way. What people are thinking about me. How pathetic we have become and how, degraded we have become in calculating our happiness in that terms. We should calculate our happiness in terms of Guru and Gauranga. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is saying. The more we do Shravan and Kirtan, that Bhakti Lata gets nourished. Even though it may go to Golok Vrindavan, it has taken shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet and it has Krishna Prem's fruit, the love of Godhead, the fruits of love of Godhead are there on that tree. And the Mali, the gardener who is staying in this material world means becoming a mother, a father, a children, or a grandfather. That living entity enjoys those fruits. How? By Shravan and Kirtan. But to tell you honestly, you cannot do Shravan and Kirtan all alone. It's not our cup of tea. This is material world. All around us, there are forces of Maya to allure us and drag us away from Krishna's lotus feet. And we're easily inclined towards those allurements and we get carried away. It's not so easy. It's very difficult. The only password for Shravan and Kirtan is the association of sincere devotees. That's the only password. If you keep such association, hardcore, pure devotees association, hardcore, sincere association, then only we will do Shravan and Kirtan. Otherwise, we do Prajalpa even with devotees. We try to find out faults of others. We criticize other devotees. If we do not do hearing and chanting. So we have to find out and figure out the ways and means. Where is that sincere devotee who is reading, hearing and chanting about Krishna, about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I will do anything to associate with him. I will give up anything to associate with him. I will accept anything to associate with him. That should be our sankalpa. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyamana Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya. That Vaishnava association is required. Without Vaishnava association, we cannot nourish our Bhakti Kripa. We cannot do Shravan and Kirtan. We cannot do all alone. It's not our cup of tea. Since millions of births we have been rotting in this material world, what kind of taste we will have for Hare Krishna Mahamantra? We have taste for sense gratification. We have taste for profit, adoration, and distinction. But we don't have taste for Harinam and Harikatha. That is our tragedy. That is our misfortune. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Durdaiva midrusha viha janina anuraga. It's my great misfortune, my dear Lord. I do not have any anuraga, taste for hearing and chanting. So the goal of human life is to develop this taste for hearing and chanting. As we see from the Rupa Shiksha that Sanatana Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is given to Srila Rupa Goswami, even though the gardener is staying in this material world, but if he continues to water the creeper by hearing and chanting, that creepers become very stout and strong, and it goes to Golok Vrindavan and takes shelter of Lord Krishna's lotus feet, and it bears fruits of Krishna Prema. But the only condition Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is putting here, Shravan Kirtan has to continue consistently. And that Shravan Kirtan, elsewhere Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while teaching Sanatana Goswami says, Sadhu Sangha Swato Vare Swajatiya, means those who have taste for hearing and chanting, that Sadhu Sangha is required. Not any other Sadhu Sangha who is doing Prajalpa with others. And even if not Prajalpa, but if that Sadhu is not speaking about intense hearing and chanting, we should not associate with such sadhus also. Not required. Only having saffron dress or having shaven head or dhoti kurta will not determine our association. Association is determined how intensely he is hearing and chanting, how prioritizingly he is giving importance to hearing and chanting. That should be our barometer. And if you find anywhere such association, you should do anything to associate with such sincere devotees, give up anything or accept anything to associate with such devotees. Manage your day schedule, your weekly schedule in such a way that you will find out some sadhu like this, who is earnestly, who is longing, who is pleading, who is yearning, who is begging for such association. And that is the secret of success in devotional service. Such association, because in such association, we will only chant maximum rounds. We will try to chant attentively and we will read, hear about the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the secret. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya Sadhu Sangha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami in Sanatana Shiksha, it will come. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haya Sadhu Sangha. The birthplace of Krishna Bhakti is Sadhu Sangha. And what do we do in that Sadhu Sangha? Shravan Kirtan. That's all. We don't go and ask, how can I earn money? How can I do this business or that business? Or my girl is not getting married. Can you please find out some groom for her? That is not the discussion with the sadhus. The discussion should be, how can I improve my chanting? How can I increase my rounds? The quality and quantity. Can you please tell me the pastimes of the Lord? The direct pastimes, not wishy-washy, beating around in the bush. It has to be direct. Then only we will nourish our Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, it's a shallow devotional service. We won't taste the nectar, the ambrosial, immortal nectar of devotional service. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It is called as Amrita, immortal. Bhakti Rasamrita is the Shandarananda Visheshatma. In the words of Srila Rupa Goswami, when he is describing the 6 symptoms of devotional service, he says, Shandarananda, condensed pleasure of devotional service, is found in the sincere devotees association, and in that association, we only read, hear and chant, nothing else, no other business. We don't have any other business. So today evening, I was reading from the 5th canto, Jadabharat section. And in that section, I would like to read you as it is. It's so powerful. Srila Prabhupada is saying here, it's so important. Srila Prabhupada is saying ISKCON is not a free hotel. ISKCON is not a free hotel. One should not just come here and eat, sleep, but one should take advantage of all the scriptures, chant attentively, hear attentively. And he says, Avyartha Kalatvam, Bharat Maharaj fell down because he didn't have any association. Our great fortune is that we have so much of association, but our misfortune is that we don't take that association seriously. We take it, lightly. Hai na? Prabhu ji kahan jayenge? After all, I give some donations to him. All the time I sponsor Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, sometimes Prasadam, sometimes Balbhog, Rajbhog. He is going to call me. That is our mentality. That's not very nice mentality. If you are doing that, that's okay, fine. But to taste Krishna's mercy, that Krishna Prem, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us in this material world, and we have already led our life so sinfully till now. And whatever short period of time span we have at our disposal is very short. And in that time, that stipulated time, suppose we may be about 30 years or 40 years or 50 years. Devotees like Kaustubh Krishna Prabhu, they are beyond, like 70 above. So whatever time we have been awarded now, Sri Krishna tells Uddhava in the 11th canto, he says, Uddhav Gita, as long as you do not leave the body, till the time you have the opportunity to chant the holy names. Skalitava, you may fall down by, slipping your legs or any way. As long as you are in this material world, you may become very dilapidated or you may become very downtrodden. It may happen anything with your body. Don't get discouraged. Till the time you are breathing, just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Patitava, Skalitava. Your body may be broken because of some accident or something. Don't get discouraged. Just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, dear devotees, please take it very seriously. The association that we have been receiving by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada is very rare. It is very, very rare. It's not that we deserve. We have been rewarded with this association. When Krishna becomes, as Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj says, when Krishna becomes very happy with any living entity, whenever Krishna becomes very happy with any living entity, you know what does he do? He sends some sincere devotee in our lives. He may give bhaktim, muktim, dadati karahichit, smarana bhakti yoga. I was reading 2 days back that Krishna gives liberation very easily, but he doesn't give bhakti very easily. Why? Because by giving bhakti, he becomes subservient to that devotee. He has to become a menial servant to that devotee. Just as he became a servant of Arjuna, he was riding on the chariot, he became Parthasarathi, he was feeding the horse. He was getting all indications from Arjuna through his... Arjuna was kicking Krishna, whether to go to the right side or to the left side or the straight, because the warrior cannot give full attention to the person who is driving the chariot. He has to keep his mind and attention to the fighting and shooting arrows. He becomes the messenger of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He enters Uttara's womb. He becomes subservient by devotional service. That's why Krishna easily doesn't give bhakti. And bhakti takes birth. Bhakti is born in sadhu sangha. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Sadma means sadan. Sadan means house or home. The lotus feet of a pure devotee is the birthplace of bhakti. There we, by serving those lotus feet and their instructions, we gain bhakti. And in that association, we chant sincerely seriously without any ulterior motives. And we should scrutinizingly find out such association and associate with such devotees who are only interested in hearing, chanting, reading. And thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami, be careful of Vaishnava. Hati Mata. When we are watering the creeper is encouraging stronger and stronger, stronger and stronger. Along with the creeper, there will be some weeds around the creeper, and those weeds will sprout. And if the Mali is not careful enough, if the gardener is not careful enough, he may by mistake, because of his negligence in devotional service, he may water those weeds. Do you know what are those weeds in our lives? Those weeds are profit, adoration, and distinction. See, I am such a senior devotee. I am initiated. I am second initiated. I speak so fluently. I speak all three languages, Hindi, Marathi, English, so nicely. I can quote Chaitanya Charitamrita here. I can quote there. These are all weeds. I can chant 192 rounds. I can collect this many millions of rupees. I can build such a nice temple. These are all weeds. I am such a senior devotee. I am recommending so many devotees for initiations. Guru Maharaj is so happy with me. He was patting my back. Shabas. These are all weeds. These are all weeds. I quote so many shlokas. I can answer any question. These are all weeds. These are all weeds of false ego. Maya is cheating us by taking shelter of so-called devotional symptoms. But if we are not careful, and how do we remain careful? Vandamui savadhana mate. We remain careful only in the association of devotees. When we are alone, we don't become careful. The devotees help us to become careful and alert, on guard. Shurasya dhara nishita durataya durgam pataste kavayo vadanti. It's very difficult. The path of sadhana bhakti is not so easy. Shurasya dhara is a razor's edge. And any times, if you are not attentive, it cuts. We believe. Because we are not attentive in chanting, not attentive in reading, and we are not careful about associating. So these are the weeds. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, be careful. What happens? When those weeds grow, then there is one mad elephant. That mad elephant comes, and that mad elephant uproots the Bhakti Lata creeper. That uproots. And what is that mad elephant? Do you know? That mad elephant is nothing but Vaishnava aparad. That mad elephant is nothing but an Vaishnava aparad. When we criticize, there are 6 types of Vaishnava aparadas. You know that? One is, if you don't become happy by seeing a Vaishnava, if there is some Vaishnava who comes to the program or at your house program, or you may go to some devotee's house program and you find that Vaishnava and you don't become happy by seeing that, kya yaar, wapas aa gaya, muh dikhane. That's a Vaishnava aparad. Then you speak ill about a Vaishnava. Then you spread his misdeeds around. You criticize that Vaishnava. Then you quarrel with them. And at the end, when you kill that Vaishnava, these are 6 kinds of Vaishnava brothers. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Rupa Goswami, this Hati Mata, this is the mad elephant. Only this one offense, any Vaishnava brother, has the potency to uproot that Bhakti Lata creeper. That has the potency. So, we don't have any choice than becoming very careful. We don't have any options. How can you just do bhakti lazily? You know, how can you just vishu bhakti? You can do. It has to be intense. No, I have to get up early morning. I have to complete my rounds before 7 a.m. No matter what happens. I have to go and associate with that devotee who speaks about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who speaks about Radha Rasbihari, who speaks about Srila Prabhupada's glories, who reads Srila Prabhupada's books. That's how we should find out those things. Otherwise, what happens? You know, if we do not find out that sincere association, then Maya gets an opportunity of our free time, and then she sends one insincere association, bad association. It may come from devotees circle, or it may come from our relative circles, or it may come from our office or neighborings. That bad association that comes, and then the weeds are nourished very nicely. I give donations, I give lectures, I do this, I do that. We also go to yatras. I spend so much of money. Those weeds are nourished, and when the weeds are nourished, elsewhere, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he tells, when we associate with such bad people, then we commit Vaishnava. And when that Vaishnava we commit, Krishna becomes extremely angry and displeased with their devotee. And he himself plants material desires in their devotee's heart. Why we see so many sincere devotees, initially they render so much of deep devotional service enthusiastically. Over a period of time, they do so many bad things. Why? Because they offend the Vaishnavas. Then Krishna gives bad thoughts in their hearts, and they act upon those thoughts. So it's very dangerous. So there is no option to sincere association. There is no option. So that's how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Srila Rupa Goswami that this is how one should protect from this mad elephant offense, Vaishnava Aparad, one's reaper of devotional service, and continuously water their devotional creeper and taste the fruits of love of Godhead. In other words, Krishna Prema. Thank you very much. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions?
Prabhuji, can you repeat this Vaishnava Aparad 6?
If you see a Vaishnava and if you don't become happy,
Yes. Next.
that's first. And then if you speak ill of a Vaishnava,
Yes. Number 3.
yeah. And then, yeah. First is not being happy. Second is, you please write again. Huh? Being angry at him. If you become angry, Prabhuji, don't you understand? I have come all the way to Vrindavan. I have paid this much amount of money. You're not providing prasad on time. You don't understand? This is Vaishnava Aparad. This is Vaishnava Aparad. We cannot quarrel with the Vaishnava. So being angry. Second. Third point. Not
Number 4.
Huh?
Not.
Yeah, I'm again repeating. Not becoming happy by seeing him. Okay. Second,
To
not
speak ill
glorifying
about
him.
him.
No, again rewrite. Rewrite again. Again rewrite.
Yes.
I'll tell again. I want to tell you the sequence.
Correct. Yeah.
Sequence is first point.
Yeah.
Not being happy about seeing him.
Next.
Second, not glorifying him. Third, being angry at him.
Yes. Yes.
Fourth, being envious of him. Fifth,
Yes,
blaspheming.
Prabhuji.
Blaspheming of Vaishnava.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And the last one is killing.
Which one?
Killing.
Last one? Which one?
Yeah. Kill a Vaishnava. Murder.
Ah. Oh. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this. And today
Jiva Goswami
we
says,
reached up to what verse? Prabhuji, today we reached up to what verse?
I don't remember, but basically Hathi Mata, the pagal elephant. How to avoid? We may continue from that theme. Shall I tell you the exact? Wait a minute. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Vrindavan. 160.
160. 116.
160.
160. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Jiva
So nice.
Jiva Goswami says, Jiva Goswami says, one should not commit these 6 offenses. And also he says, Jiva Goswami says, one should not witness others committing these 6 types of Vaishnava offenses. If somebody witnesses, he also becomes the part of Vaishnava Aparadha. He will incur the same kind of reactions. That means one should not associate with such people, those who are committing these 6 types of Vaishnava Aparadhas, according to Jiva Goswami. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shall we stop here?
बहुत धन्यवाद. Anyone has any question? I think all are feeling hungry now.
Yes. Daya Murari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhawan Pranam. Prabhuji, wonderful class. Thank you so much for giving insight into the Vaishnava Aparadha thing. So, Prabhuji, my question is that in our day-to-day dealing with Vaishnavas, and it's in the congregation and things, we often, take the association of Vaishnavas very at a very bodily platform or at a material platform as well. Like, oh, I've been with this Vaishnava for long, so I treat him like my friend, and sometimes, aparadh can happen. It may not be intentionally. It can be intentionally, either the way. But it's more than a Vaishnava. I treat him, or he's like my my god brother. So let me at time I may scold, or I may get shouted, I may get irritated, or sometimes I try to look down, and sometimes I even appreciate. So whatever, favorable, unfavorable, both kind of things happen. So Roji, my question is that when we even do accidentally or intentionally this Vaishnava aparadh, so all the bhakti what we have done in our sincere bhakti, whatever we have done in the past, as you said that a lot of devotees lose interest in bhakti, like they fall back or they fall down. So, but whatever bhakti they have done initially, does that also gets relinquished or it continues? So maybe they can get some benefit of that bhakti in near future.
The example is given by the acharyas. I understood your question. What happened to the previous bhakti? After Vaishnava Aparadh, already he has done some bhakti, but after Vaishnava Aparadh, whether that bhakti also gets, extinguished, or what happens with the bhakti? So the example is given. Suppose you have $10 million in your account, and that account is seized. Although the money is yours, but you cannot access the account. The money is only, but
it's
because
frozen.
you have committed Vaishnava Aparadh, you cannot access that bank account.
Right.
That money is being seized by the government.
Correct.
Okay. So if you commit a Vaishnava Aparadh, then what happens? If you commit a Vaishnava Aparadh, the devotional service is there on your name only, but you cannot access the mercy or you cannot take advantage of that devotional service. That access is denied because of the Vaishnava Aparadh. The one and only solution is going back to that same Vaishnava and begging forgiveness as long as he doesn't forgive you.
So this happens only when it's done intentionally, not unintentionally. Right?
Intentionally, unintentionally, it doesn't matter. Rupa Goswami, once he was meditating on the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and in that pastime he saw that Radharani was trying to pick flowers from the high branch of some tree, and she was unable to catch those flowers. That time Krishna climbs about that particular branch, and their branch was bent down. It was lowered down so that Radharani could catch hold of the branch and she could pick some flowers. And Krishna, just to see fun, he jumped off the branch. And the branch went high up in the sky. And Radharani started hanging like this, Latak. And poor girl, she started shouting, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And Krishna ran away. Rupa Goswami was meditating on this pastime. At that time, there was a Brahman who was lame. He was unable to walk properly. He was walking from the side of Rupa Goswami. He was just going from the front side of Rupa Goswami. Although Rupa Goswami didn't see him, but Rupa Goswami was laughing at this pastime of Radha and Krishna. And this Brahmana felt offended because I'm handicapped. I cannot walk properly. My body is deformed. So Rupa Goswami is laughing at me. He felt offended in his heart. Rupa Goswami's meditation broke. And Rupa Goswami came and reported to Sanatana Goswami, why my meditation broke? I don't know. Then Sanatana Goswami announced a huge feast for all the Brahmanas of Vrindavan. And the particular offended Brahmana did not come for that Brahman Bhajan. And there Sanatana Goswami said, here is the one. You go and offer your obeisances to him. Right. He offers obeisances and he asks and he begs forgiveness. What mistake I have done? How did I offend you? I don't know. Please forgive me. And then he narrates the whole pastime. That I don't know what happened to you. All of a sudden I came in front of you and you started laughing. That Brahmana didn't know Rupa Goswami was meditating on Radha and Krishna. He didn't know that. But he misunderstood. He misunderstood. Okay. So intentionally or unintentionally, Vaishnava Aparadha is Vaishnava Aparadha. We have to be careful. If Rupa Goswami is not spared, what to speak of Rupa Goswami? Sachi Mata was not spared from Vaishnava Aparadha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give Krishna Prem to Sachi Mata because she had offended Advaita Acharya. Yeah. When Vishwambar had taken sannyas, Vishwarup had taken sannyas, this Advaita is not Advaita. What is our question? हम किस खेत की मूली है? Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Rupa. Shall we stop here? Kaustubh Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. We'll ask all to please unmute and say 3 times Haribol for Krishna Bhajan Prabhuji. Haribol.
Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
very nice class.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I